Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. This is Victor. Guess Victor's got some content for us today. What do you got?
Yep. So I heard a quote this week. I've been thinking about it a lot and ended up doing a little research on where it came from and all that, and then wanted to spring it on you and just kind of get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
So apparently originally this quote came from a autobiography of Charles Stewart. No idea who that is.
Me neither.
Book came out in 1901. Someone who grew up in London. And basically, growing up, he went to a lot of dinner parties, and back then you were the kid and you didn't say anything, and so he was observing. And there was a gentleman that would come by, and he had this saying. And ultimately, I'm not a fan of the wording of these sayings, and I'll tell you kind of at the end. But it's basically saying low-class people enjoy arguing and discussing people. The next class up from them, we'll say middle-class type people, are people who like discussing events and things.
What was the first one? Low class, like what?
People.
They discuss people. Oh,
Yeah,
so
people.
like gossip. Okay.
Yeah, very good. That was the context of the original quote. Was people who were just wasting time with gossip. And then events and things was kind of the next level. And the top level was ideas. If you're a high class or upper class mind, like that type of thing, then you like discussing ideas. So then the quote that I heard was attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's just a morphing of this. And it's small minds do this, middle minds, or medium minds, and then big brain. If you're a big brain, you talk about that. So do you have any as you hear that, does that sound like truth? Does that sound like applying it to yourself at all? Anything like that? I know I've had a lot of time to think about this.
Okay. Yeah, no, it rings as true to me.
Okay.
I don't know about the classifications of the first three groups, like the low class, middle class.
Yes, that's what I didn't like about those.
Okay. Oh, so you said the wording. That was the wording.
Yeah.
Okay.
The categories I'm 100% in on, though.
I'm 100% in on the categories too, because it's like the depth of your thought.
Okay.
And I was just thinking making, say, videos like this.
Okay.
Say you were making a video about this and it was like a gossip column on.
Sure.
I don't even know who's in the gossip.
Or
the Kardashians. Okay. Probably 20 years out of date, 10 years out of date, but whatever. Or as opposed to talking about an event over an idea. But even when we do discuss events, there's a reason why we're discussing this event.
And it's an idea.
It's behind the ideas behind it. Right. And the greater concepts.
Very good. Awesome.
Right.
All right. So same conclusions I've come to.
Okay.
The reason why I don't like the wording is because at different points in my life, I've been all different levels. So it isn't, my mind wasn't changing size or anything like that. My class didn't change. I'm still the same dude. It's just like the scope of my thinking. I stopped, being into, NBA stuff and all the players were being traded, and eventually, or even when we first started talking politics, all of our conversations were, you see what AOC said? Or, Nadler looking like he soiled his pants, or he was drunk. Yeah, all these things. It was meaningless, stupid stuff that doesn't matter in the overall scope. But eventually we graduated. And now we're talking about what happened with 9/11. Or you're telling me about all this crazy Ruby Ridge stuff.
But even when we graduated from the first one, it's like, we were then talking about events. Like, oh man, the wall, the border, none of that's the problem.
Right.
None of that's the problem. It's the immigration law. You know what I'm saying? It's a hot. Go ahead.
No, but you're totally right. But it's this migration of thought where you're realizing that because we have an honest hunger to figure things out, we're realizing it's not AOC, it's not Pelosi. These people are stupid. Mm-hmm. And then so you're looking at bigger things. Now, what do those mean? And then you're forming ideas of, what I mean? It's this almost an evolution I've thought in that has tracked perfectly with my journey to where I am today.
Interesting. It also reminds me of when we even did a video on this. It was about the symptoms and causes. I'll put a link in the description if you haven't seen it. But basically, I would come at you with ideas we could make a video on this, and Victor would say, hey, that's just a symptom. That's not related to the cause. We don't even need to go into that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We root out these causes right here, and all that stuff just goes away. We're to waste our time talking about it. But this is kind of along the same lines of going to higher principles.
Okay.
Elevating it up from, did you see what happened to that trans activist? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a problem for my community. It's like, No, that's a symptom of something going on.
Right.
And or even just attempt to theorize where the cause is.
And how to fix it and potential solutions and all the different aspects. So
and how to make sure they're not allowed in your country ever again. Okay. We're filming this during Zionism Week, even though it's not a part of it. So fresh on the mind.
Yeah. So then I was thinking about like applying this to the channel and think about the content that we make. What is our most popular content? It's what really happened. It's events. That is our audience, or in that middle area.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay, wait a second. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, okay.
Because that's definitely true numerically. If you look at the numbers on Rumble, that's definitely true. But I also think it's because we don't have a large audience of people who continue to come back every time.
Okay.
You know, so we got multiple people on Rumble who comment very frequently. You know, and so they're coming back to watch. But in general, I think our audience is a lot of times just people who Google like Holocaust Auschwitz, and they're like, well, part one. I wonder what part 2 is, and then they go on. And now there's thousands of views on Rumble across the Holocaust series. And the same thing with like Ruby Ridge or Waco. I think those are not our fans. Those are people.
But it's people who aren't Googling AOC and Pelosi. It's people who are at that other stage.
Right. But like if you... Like our video that I just mentioned about the causes and the symptoms, it's a higher level video, you know, like we're talking about like a plan to, but it's also not that attractive. Okay. So even though the ideas in there are really good, but like you look at it and say, am I going to spend 11, I don't know how long it is, but 11 minutes on this? I mean, it doesn't have a picture of a Holocaust on the front or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that person isn't graduating to the next level yet.
Okay.
So I was just thinking of like, if we're classifying our content, keep feeding the people at the tier 2, we'll say, and that have stuff there trying to push them to the next level, or when they get there, you've got that stuff that can help them with the ideas and all that, and almost think of the audience in these different levels.
Interesting. I feel like we are doing that in a way because like if you were to Google USS Liberty, we'll say, like say on Rumble or something, and then you were to come across our What Would Happen USS Liberty, you're going to find out about them recalling the fighters and why. You know?
Right.
And you're going to find out about the war crimes and the cover up and this and that. And you've got to think like, well, you know what I mean?
Right.
What's behind this?
Totally.
And then you go to our channel and you look like, what's the newest videos? It's Zionism Week. What the heck are these dudes talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I like it.
Just because we've often, discussed how to grow the channel and that type of thing.
Right.
And, just thinking about it in these simplistic terms, it just made so much sense to me. So,
and just skip all the tier 1 stuff, you're saying?
No. Well, because there's still people if someone is in tier 1 and they're starting to broaden their, their thinking. And we do little videos here and there about, even take don't know if it's published at this point, but video on Nikki Haley. Like that's.
It has been published, yeah.
Okay. So that's a
way to be on top of the business.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
all over it.
Okay.
That was a thing about people, but went straight into tier 3 of is there a bigger picture with Tucker Carlson, and all that type of thing. Right. And that's still a way of bringing people in.
Okay, I like it. And so this kind of falls into like I'm just gonna guess this is gonna end up in our deprogramming series, correct? Because it's teaching you how to think about
or way to observe the world and categorize things.
And if you took this to some other content you watched from another creator, and then you looked at it and you're like, I really like tier 2 stuff, but I'm getting all tier 1 here.
Okay.
You don't care what the Kardashians are wearing at the gala, Or if you want tier 3 and then you're only finding tier 2, and you're like, look, I know all the facts about all the things. Right. I need higher principles.
Or your friends that you hang out with, or your family, and you can just kind of judge where are they at in life.
Tier 1. Just gonna guess, not you watching. I'm gonna say you look around at like your friend that you hang out with on Saturdays, probably tier 1.
Because the ratios and
hopefully you got
number of people in 1 to 2 is it's gonna drop off a ton, and same from 2 to 3 is gonna drop off a ton
enormously, right?
So, but just a way of looking at life, and that was interesting.
So I've stated on videos before, like our actual goal of this channel is 5,000 people, not subscribers, 5,000 people. Which is more than that in subscribers because, but who are active and stuff like that.
Yeah. Engaging.
Yeah, engaging, volunteering information, maybe video chatting in and being on shows for their specialty, helping us build the website. This and that. 5,000 people is our goal. Oh, no, I was gonna say we're looking for tier 3 people, but not necessarily.
No, definitely.
Just not really tier 1 people.
Right, I would agree with that. Because you could be the expert on a 9/11 or moon landing or something, and that's a tier 2 thing. And you could be one of those people
incredibly valuable.
That a whole series on the moon landing or something. And we need that guy.
Right. Okay, interesting. And even if you literally think about the numbers, even a 1% from the tier 3 to a 99% from the tier 2 would still get you where you want to be.
Oh, okay.
When you're talking about 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to contribute at the tier 2. Like there are so many things I want to write entries for our website. I just don't have the time.
Right.
If we're not filming, we're editing videos. I'm editing videos. If I'm not editing videos, he's building the website or I'm spending time with my family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or working, of course, all the other time.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. I like it.
Okay. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting to you. And we got a lot of content on our website. If you just want to look through it, maybe you can find some tier 2, tier 3, depending on what you're looking for. Or maybe some tier 1 that will lead you up.
Yeah.
And we post new content Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we hope to see you there. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting to you. And we got a lot of content on our website. If you just want to look through it, maybe you can find some tier 2, tier 3, depending on what you're looking for. Or maybe some tier 1 that will lead you up.
Yeah.
And we post new content Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we hope to see you there. Nailed it. That was my best outro by far.
Yeah.